When shooting a video, it's our intention to get the best looking images we can. However, even the best cinematographers are sometimes subject to location conditions that make it difficult to achieve optimum exposure and color balance. We've all seen video where the subject looks either too dark or they look too blue or too red. Fortunately, Final Cut Express has a built-in color corrector that gives you the ability to correct bad video, or at the very least, enhance good video. One thing about color correction that should be noted: it's not a substitute for properly exposed footage that is properly white balanced. This clip in the timeline is an example of an all too typical situation where the camera was set for auto exposure and it exposed for the background and not the subject. In any case, the subject is too dark and we need to bring some detail out of the image. Start by selecting the clip in the timeline, then from the Effects menu choose Effects, Video Filters, Color Correction, Color Corrector. Now just double-click on the clip to bring it into the viewer for editing. At the top of the viewer window, you'll now see a new tab called the Color Corrector. By clicking on it, you'll have access to Final Cut Express's robust color correction controls. Final Cut Express's color corrector is really a filter with a pretty face and is divided into two halves. The top half is where you adjust the color balance and hue of your image. The bottom half is where you adjust the brightness and saturation of your image. In any video image, brightness is actually a range between pure black and pure white with grays in the middle. These ranges are represented by these sliders. Final Cut Express's color corrector gives you independent control over the whites, mids, and blacks in your clip, so you have much more power in fixing exposure problems like this one. The first place you want to start is the Auto Contrast button. Clicking this button will maximize the range between your blacks and whites to give you better overall contrast. After using this button, you can start adjusting the blacks, mids, and white sliders to tweak the picture a bit more. In this clip, because I'm losing detail in the subject's face and shirt, I want to bring up the mids. The mid slider is great because it brings up the overall image brightness without affecting the whites and blacks too much. Now my blacks are starting to get a bit more washed out or gray, so I'll bring down the blacks just a bit. To see a before and after, you can toggle this little checkbox. In this next shot, we see an image that has way too much blue in it. Typically, this is caused by cameras that have not been white balanced or were shot with the wrong color balance setting. In any event, Final Cut Express's color corrector will go a long way in helping to fix common shooting problems like this one. I'll start by selecting the clip in the timeline and then use a shortcut to apply the filter. Since we used the same filter on the previous shot, the color corrector is just sitting at the top of the Effects menu waiting for me. Now I'll double click on the clip to load it into the viewer and select the Color Corrector tab. The tool we want to use on this clip is called the Auto Balance Eyedropper, and it's found at the bottom left of the color balance wheel. The way this tool works is that you click on it once, then drag your mouse over the image in the canvas window. What you're looking for is an object, any object in the frame that is supposed to be pure white. Many times this could be a wall, a t-shirt, or even a cat. In this image, the white object is the window pane, so I'll click on that. Wow, what just happened? The Auto Balance Eyedropper analyzed the mix of colors in my selection and automatically compensated for all the blue it found in those pixels. As you can see, the balance knob in the color wheel shifted towards yellow to fix the color balance of this clip. Color correction is not always about fixing problems. Because of this, many people refer to this process as color enhancement rather than color correction. Sometimes you might just want to use color correction to give your videos a look or a mood. Let's look at some examples. Here's a close-up of a red watermelon on a wood table. I want to warm up the shot a bit more and punch up the red in the melon. If I hold down the Apple key and click and drag the color balance knob towards red on the wheel, I can warm up the wood in the table and make the watermelon seem more juicy. If I drag the saturation slider to the right a bit, the entire image seems to get more intense. I'll toggle this checkbox so you can see a before and after. Here's a shot of a sunset. By dragging the color balance toward blue, I can give the shot more of a twilight feel. Or then again, I could just whack the colors out altogether to give the scene an otherworldly look. In this last example, I have a clip of a rock formation. If By cranking the hue to the other side of the color wheel, I can create interesting color effects like an alien landscape. So as you can see, Final Cut Express has a remarkable color corrector and enhancer built right into the program that you can use to great effect to tell your stories.